Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stewart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, and welcome to another Let's Talk Divorce conversation. And on this segment of the show, I have family law attorney, mediator, and life coach Jennifer Mitchell, who is calling in all the way from, I don't know how she's doing this, from two different places. St. Charles, Illinois, and Oak Park, Illinois. I'm sure she's going to reveal her secret of how she works in two places at the same time. Anyway, Jennifer is the founder of Holistic Divorce Resolution, Inc., and she's certainly considered to be a leader in the area of family law. And she's here today, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to you about staying out of the courtroom to resolve all family law disputes by utilizing mediation and incorporating life coaching. Now, that sounds very interesting. So, if you are one of the many divorcing couples in the St. Charles or Oak Park, Illinois area, it might be a good idea to down tools, log out of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or anything else that you might be doing that may cause a distraction. Pick up a notepad and pen and listen in to what Jennifer has to share with you today. So with that said, let's not keep her waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
You are so welcome. Okay, Jenny, can you briefly share, in your own words, of course, what kinds of people you serve and the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help?
Absolutely. So Holistic Divorce Resolution serves anyone with a family law issue. And the majority of our clients that come to us are seeking a divorce, and they want to resolve their issues in a confidential and an empowering manner.
Okay, great. So it goes without saying then, Jenny, that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or even legal assistance. Now, I'm sure there are many that you come across while you're out there helping your clients. However, what's the most common misconception that you do come across while you're out there helping the people who you love to help the most?
There is a common misconception that utilizing mediation for divorce is somehow inferior or is not as effective or even legal as utilizing litigation. There remains this misconception that if you want to get a divorce, you need to file a petition with the court, you need to serve your spouse via sheriff, you both need to hire cutthroat attorneys, and then you need to go battle it out in the court system and have a judge decide on the outcome. When the reality is that the mediation process does exactly what's done in the court system. We follow the same governing statute that the litigators follow when they're before a judge, the Illinois Marriage and Dissolution of Marriage Act. And the only difference, which is the big difference, is that mediation changes the setting, we change the process, and we also change the tone for the divorce. So at Holistic Divorce Resolution, we meet in a very comfortable setting. There are very positive affirmations on the walls, lots of color, there's nice lighting, water, hot tea. We have a library of inspirational books for our clients to peruse. And we provide our clients with gifts that help them get through the process, which consists of a homemade divorce journal and access to sauna, massage, acupuncture, chiropractic services, and other natural remedies to help them get through the process, and all in an effort to create a very positive working environment for the couple to effectively get through the divorce process. And so we remove the adversarial nature of the divorce that is perpetuated in the courtroom. And we help husband and wife make their own agreements and craft their own judgment, which contains the marital settlement agreement and the parenting plan, by informing the clients of what the law says and by allowing them to make agreements that are fair for their family and that just work for them, as opposed to leaving it up to a judge.
Okay, so based on what you just shared with us then, Jennifer, and obviously keeping your client's confidentiality in mind, share an example of how you've helped someone who came to you with those challenges, that misconception you just described, and what kind of transformational results you were able to gain for them.
We just recently had a couple that were separated for about a year, and for the last year, they weren't even talking to each other. This couple had significant assets, and there was a business that was involved as well, and they had 3 children. When they came into our office and had the consultation, they were not even on speaking terms, but they wanted to handle their matter in a confidential manner. So that was the kind of hooking point for them, because they knew that the mediation session was a confidential process, meaning that there would be none of their dirty laundry aired in a public record via motions or transcripts. And as they went through the process and as they understood the background of mediation and the goal of incorporating the life coaching and really building them up as opposed to destroying them, and helping them to look at their marriage and recognize that they can respect the marriage for what it was. And they did receive gifts from the marriage in the shape of personal growth and life lessons learned. And, just helping them to understand that they want to live separately and they want to live differently. And there is nothing bad about that. And focusing on their children and the importance of mom and dad having an active role and a positive role in their children's lives, and the importance of the 2 of them to maintain a unified front for their children and hopefully show them a positive relationship that they can have with each other to help their children live happy, healthy, well-adjusted lives and be contributing members of society. And so as they went through this process, and we dissolved their conflict and focused more on the job at hand, which is going through the marital inventory and figuring out who is going to have what, and what time mom is going to spend with the kids and what time dad is going to spend with the kids. And once we kind of boiled everything down and showed them that it doesn't have to be this hugely contentious process, it really can just be a matter of looking at your family, looking at your relationship, looking at your marriage, and figuring out what is fair for you as a family and what is going to help you to walk away from this process and not have all of these terrible negative emotions that are oftentimes connected with litigation. And once we did that for them and they went through the process, at the end, they were very nice to each other, and they were talking about holidays and how they were going to plan their son's birthday party and invite both sides of the family to it. So it was a very eye-opening experience, I think, for both of them. And we felt good from our point of view because we were helping them. We helped them come from a terrible place when they entered to, an ending place where they understood what happened, and they were both able to process the downfall of their marriage and move forward freely and openly.
Excellent. So just as a reminder, Jenny, today's topic is staying out of the courtroom to resolve all family disputes by, as you said yourself, utilizing mediation and incorporating life coaching. Now, with that in mind, Jenny, and for those divorcing couples wanting to know more, what's the most common but unknown pitfall they need to avoid regardless of what situation they find themselves in?
Well, although most people have a personal connection to someone who has experienced a divorce in the litigation system, and most people, I think, are aware that it can be a very brutal process, I think one unknown pitfall is that once you start the litigation process, it's very difficult to get out of the court system. And it oftentimes depends heavily on the attorneys that are involved. And being stuck in that process has negative effects that extend to all facets of people's lives. It affects their work. It affects their professional relationships. It affects their personal relationships, the relationships with their children, with their family members, with their friends. And it also affects their health because that toxic environment that's found in the litigation system beats people down, and it fills them with so many harmful emotions such as anger and fear and frustration. They have disappointment in their marriage and in their spouse, and they sometimes have hate for the other person. And the longer that the people are stuck in the court system, the more these emotions linger and they intensify. And so this emotional stress that they are getting from the court system will ultimately present itself in the physical system, and it will create illness, and it will create dis-ease in the body. And it takes people a significant amount of time to process these negative emotions and move past them. And sometimes it takes people years to do this, and some people are never able to do it. They live the rest of their lives with these terrible emotions that are just beating them down. And not only are they doing that, but they're also denying them the opportunity to live a life that's open to love and open to happiness. And it denies them the opportunity to live out their true life's purpose moving forward.
So, Jenny, while you're speaking, I can just feel this genuine passion that you have for what you do. And I'm really curious, and on behalf of the listeners, I'd just like to ask you somewhat of a more personal question. Is that okay if I go down that road?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so let's imagine then it's any given morning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doesn't really matter, but it's 5, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., your alarm clock goes off and you're doing your morning stretch and you have a full day's work ahead of you, helping your clients, helping those unfortunate divorcing couples. What goes on in your mind with a day ahead of you like that? How does Jennifer feel on a day like that?
I feel excited for the day. So I practice the same, principles that I teach to my clients. So in a day like that, I would wake up and I would practice my gratitude and wake up being grateful for my life and for having a full day of clients that I can help before me. Feeling grateful for my health and for my children and for my family, and just having gratitude in all areas of my life. I'm a big fan in self-awareness and self-care. So on days that I do have a busy day, I start my day by going to the gym. I have a nice green detox smoothie. Yeah, I have a nice green detox smoothie that kind of gives me a good start and a nice energy boost for the day. I go to the gym and swim, and then I go in the sauna and meditate. And I take a nice cold shower, kind of clear my mind, and then I move forward with my day and start everything. But I definitely, in between sessions, I have to take time to myself as well. So I do utilize the essential oils. I take walks. I go outside. I love trees and nature. So those are the kind of things that I do to energize myself and make sure that I'm in a good place so I can share and help other people.
All right. Do you get people within your circle of influence that say, Jenny, how can you do that kind of work? I mean, these divorcing couples, it must be so stressful. It must be almost depressing. Do you get that kind of thing happening?
Absolutely. Yes. And I think there is definitely a stigma that's attached to family law attorneys. And I think, unfortunately, I did litigate for, 9 years. And so I came across many family law attorneys, and, it can be the litigation setting is extremely difficult. And so what I've done is I've transformed it into something that works for me and is helping people. It's helping people live better lives, and it's making better families, and, which in turn is making better communities and making a better world. So, now when people talk to me, since I've created this, it's great. It's empowering. I'm helping people live better lives, and that makes me feel great, and it makes me feel confident that when I am older, the children, of today, and a lot of them are products of divorce, are going to be happy, healthy, well-adjusted kids that, their parents are going to focus on them, and they're not going to be part of this conflict. And so they're our next community leaders, and I feel confident about that. So I'm very happy much happier now.
And that's a great vision that you just shared with us there, Jenny. And it's something that lies very close to my heart, being a divorced child myself. And it's the actual reason why I started this series called Let's Talk Divorce Conversations, so that people like yourselves could come on here and use the platform to talk with those divorcing couples out there, because regardless of what they are going through, and obviously I totally respect their situation, the victims, without a doubt, are always the children. And being a child of divorce myself, and not having the kind of resources that are available today with people like yourself, life coaches, mediators, collaborators, etc., I had to, and my little brother, we had to go through a very volatile divorce and figure it all out ourselves, as our parents used us as tennis balls. You know, your father's this, your mother's that. And as you mentioned before, it took me a very long time. I'm in my mid-50s now, but it took me to my mid-30s to sort out all the nonsense that was going on in my head, because as a young man and as a young child, as a teenager, even in my mid-20s up to my 30s, I blamed myself because I didn't know the real reasons why. So I think it's amazing that you're coming on here and you're sharing your experience, you're sharing your expertise and helping, first and foremost, those divorcing couples, but the real heroes, the people who we're really trying to help here are the children. That's the reason for this series. So thank you so much for sharing that personal side of your, of what you do, and showing people that, hey, beyond the face of the lawyer and the family law attorney title, there is a real person behind here with a real passion for what she does. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And thank you for starting this show. It's so important to promote that, to let people know that the children are the ones that, that's the reason why my whole practice was created, was because we had 3 children. We had 3 kids in 39 months. And when our eldest was 4 years old, and we had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, that's, I think, when I started understanding what being a mom truly was, and how important it was for our kids to have my presence in their life, but also dad's presence in their life, and how important it was for mom and dad, both me and my husband, to show our kids, this is what love is, and this is what a relationship, and this is what life is. And, you can do whatever you want in your life. And if our marriage didn't work and we went through a divorce, to show them this is okay. It has nothing to do with you. We love you more than anything. We are a unified front for you, and we'll always be here for you. And that's exactly why holistic divorce resolution came about, because I started realizing that as a litigator, I was destroying people, and I was destroying families, and I was severely harming children, and I just could not do that anymore.
Right. So you just mentioned you worked for 9 years as a litigator, so that's going more into your professional background. And I think for the people who are listening right now, they'd like to know a little bit more about you in terms of your background and your education, and especially your experience as it relates to the topic of family law. So yeah, you've shared some insights about the more personal side of yourself, but let's look at the more professional background. If you could just briefly share a few insights for us, please, Jenny, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure. So I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1999 with a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and in Political Science. I took 4 years off and traveled the world and lived in different countries, experiencing different cultures and people. And then I started attending DePaul University College of Law in Chicago, and I graduated in 2006. I became a certified mediator in 2012, and I also became certified in collaborative practice in 2012. And I earned my certification as a life coach in 2015. So since then, I formed professional partnerships with a natural health physician named Dr. Michelle Brannick, and a holistic therapy group, Mindful Wellness. And this triad that I've created is in an effort to provide my clients with resources that help them balance their 4 selves, their mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual self during the difficult divorce process.
Okay, Jenny, if you could just close your eyes for a few seconds and picture the kinds of divorcing couples who come to you for your guidance and they want to know more about staying out of the courtroom to resolve their family law disputes by utilizing mediation and incorporating life coaching. Now, with that picture in mind, Jenny, what final thoughts would you like to share with them before we close out with our last question for today?
I would share with them that divorce is not only a legal process, but it's also an emotional process, and it requires a tremendous amount of self-care and reflection. And it's important to be cognizant of those four selves that I just mentioned, the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual self, and try to maintain balance in all four while they're going through the process. And I would share with them that they have a choice as to how they want to complete the divorce process. And they don't need to give up their power and be subjected to the abuse of the court system, that there is an alternative to the litigation system. And the alternative is one that empowers you and that will lift them up as opposed to breaking them down and causing severe destruction and harm. I would share with them that mediation has the same legal effect as litigation, and it's completely confidential and is much more kind to them, and it's effective, and it is tailored to meet the needs of their unique family. And I would tell them finally that, holistic divorce resolution provides them with the skills and tools to recognize that they not only have a choice with the divorce process, but they also have a choice with regards to what lens they are seeing the divorce through. And they have a choice. They can either see it through the lens of suffering and pain, or they can see it through the lens of, gratitude for the gifts provided from the marriage and see it truly as an opportunity to live freely and to live being true to their own life's purpose.
So, Jenny, if there's somebody out there that's been listening to the show and they feel like, this Jenny, she knows what she's talking about. I need to find out more. I need to get in touch with her. If that's the case then, Jenny, where would they find you or how would they be able to connect with you?
So they can call our office phone number, which is 708-222-7335. They can also connect with us through our website, which is www.holisticdivorceresolution.com. And they can also email me directly. And my email address is Jenny, Jenny, at holisticdivorceresolution.com.
Okay, so that's all we have time for today. Once more, that was family law attorney, mediator, and life coach Jennifer Mitchell, commonly known as Jenny. Thank you so much for sharing so generously with us today, Jenny. You did a sterling job of demonstrating your true passion for helping divorcing couples to resolve family disputes through a combination of mediation and life coaching. So thank you, Jenny.
And thank you so much for having me. I am just so grateful for you, for everything that you're doing. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And you know something, Jenny, I'd even like to say a bigger thank you to the listener. Thank you for joining us on this very insightful and informative discussion with one of the leading family law attorneys, mediators, and life coaches in the St. Charles and Oak Park, Illinois area today. So again, that was Jennifer Mitchell. Remember her name. Make sure to check her out, give her a call, drop her an email. You'll most certainly be in the right place. And finally, again, my name is Stewart Andrew Alexander, and we'll be back shortly with some more leading divorce professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Divorce Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.